Michelle.
Did you say something to me?
You can do because I've got to take notes.
Okay. Well, welcome to our November 19th Park and Recreation Committee meeting for the city of Woodland Hills. And we have this meeting's being recorded and it will be streaming on the internet. So our first item on the agenda is public comment. We have nobody here for public comments.
Anybody online?
Unless somebody's online. Is anybody online?
Hi, Brian, Jody.
You there, Brian?
I'm here. No comment though.
Okay, there we go. Next item is the approval of the minutes for May 21st. We have a motion to approve the minutes. Okay, we have a motion. All in favor?
I'll second.
I can second it.
Oh, Mike second.
Second?
Yep.
All in favor of approving?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Next item is update on proposed lighting ordinance that Sherry and I have kind of been working on for a little while.
Yeah, I've got, just so we can go through this. I don't know. Do you have one?
Okay, this is our current lighting.
Well, this is the one you and I worked on.
Okay. So, maybe we could, so we just pass out as something that Sherry and I have been looking at. One of the assignments I was given in our last meeting was to do some investigation on other cities that have a dark sky ordinance. And so I looked into Eagle Mountain, and I would like to read into our meeting here the Dark Skies Initiative for Eagle Mountain. In November 2014, the Eagle Mountain City Council approved an outdoor lighting ordinance that requires full cutoff light fixtures for all exterior lighting, effectively making them dark sky compliant. What is dark sky compliance? One of the primary reasons that residents move to Eagle Mountain is to get away from it all, recognizing the beauty of the night sky and that we can have an impact on preserving it. The city has taken measures to ensure we can see the night sky for years to come. The standard our city follows are established by the International Dark Sky Association, the IDA, which puts a lot of work into pushing for policies that mitigate light pollution. To learn more, see the IDA website below. So that is the statement on the Eagle Mountain website, which, as I read it, it sounded like we could just change the name from Eagle Mountain to Woodland Hills, because that seems like one of the reasons most of us live up here is to get away from it all. And one of the things that I personally like is the dark sky. The other night, we had an exceptionally clear night, and out of my bedroom window, the stars were just amazing to look at.
Jupiter is
So,
between us and the moon right now. It's really pretty.
so we have two documents here. One is the outdoor standards for the city of Eagle Mountains. This is their code that I printed out for everybody to have and refer to, big one. The other is some things that Sherry and I talked about that would facilitate Woodland Hills moving towards dark sky. So in order to go any further with this, I think we're gonna need somebody to coordinate the dark sky with the city council in the city.
Well, we have a liaison in Daniel Jensen, who works for Sunrise Engineering. And he's the one that is currently representing Sunrise in putting together, he put together the survey, went out on the general plan. He's helping the city put the general plan together, of which PTR, Parks, Trails, Recreation, is a part of. So, and he also is a executive, but he's on a dark sky. He's on a he said once we got whatever we wanted to use, city ordinance for lighting, it encompasses residential, encompasses commercial, a different.
Sherry, is your microphone, did it go off? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
No, it says it's on. Let me try another
Okay,
one.
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
The lighting for residential is in 10.8, and for commercial, I think it's 10.9. Brian, do you know, did the city council approve, was there a site plan done for all the lighting that was put up down by the mailbox and here around the city hall?
I would have to look at that. I don't know if that was approved.
Okay. Because in the ordinance for commercial or public property, lights are supposed to go off at the mailbox. Will you take a note of that and follow up with Ted or Jody and about that?
Yep, I can do that. You
So
might want to
light-
switch microphones. That one keeps going out.
Ryan, would you like me to email you a PDF file of Eagle Mountain's code?
Yes, that would be wonderful.
Okay. Where do you think the other councilmen are on the dark sky issue, Brian?
So I know nobody is opposed to it. I think there's more you know more people interested in it than I don't think anybody's opposed. We do know right now that our city, our lighting ordinance in the city needs to be redone, because we have a measuring system that's not what the standard is anymore. So that is one thing, and we're kind of holding off on that, is my understanding, until we get more information from y'all, so that we can possibly, when we rewrite it, we can bring some of these things into it. So it is something that needs to be done. We need to look at our ordinance, our current ordinance, and rewrite it for current measuring. I believe it's set up in watts, and that's not what we measure with anymore. We need to measure with lumens. And so it does need to change, and I think we're just kind of waiting for some input on from the PTR on ideas of where we can go to actually meet with those standards that you're pushing for. So I believe there's good support for it in the city council.
Those of us here, if you look at the next to the last page, it has a diagram
Compliance and non-compliance.
of approved dark sky lighting fixtures, which basically it's fixtures that throw the light down instead of up.
I think that we should include that diagram in the ordinance.
Yes, it is included in, this is a printout of their Eagle Mountain ordinance, so it's part of their,
Well, just for a little bit of feedback, remember when we had a dark sky subcommittee and we put together an ordinance? We kind of based it off of Tories, and we gave it to planning to look at. I won't say they laughed at us, but they said they'd never seen an ordinance so long and they wouldn't even consider it. So bearing that in mind, I think if we keep it simple, and then I think I know what's in here. I'd have to read through it, but make a longer document part of the construction standards that new residential buildings would have to submit a lighting plan in order to get their permit. And then as part of the permit process, at nighttime, the building inspector goes out and examines. But that's just my little input from what happened before. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I mean, I think what Dennis and I put together, I've reviewed this a couple times myself, and I think it's too wordy.
well, maybe you could take this and go
Yep.
take a look at Eagle Mountain, because Eagle Mountain does meet the dark sky specifications. And then let's get it to
Daniel?
Daniel.
And then Brian, what do we have to do? Submit it to planning first? Where is the
So-
pub?
I'll have to check. I know the city council sends stuff to the planning the planning commission. I don't know if it's protocol. I have to check on protocol if you guys can send it directly to them. Let me check on that and I'll get back with you.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
because it's changing an ordinance.
yes, yes,
So
and so I know that we actually vote on sending stuff to the planning commission. So I don't know if it has to go through us first or if it goes directly there, but I will note, and we won't mention names, but you do have a very strong proponent for dark skies on the planning commission now. And so that will bode well for work that needs to be done there.
Well, we had some questions raised by planning before, and I've addressed them with Wayne. I think
Okay.
Wayne's biggest concern was that to be dark sky compliant meant that we would have to be audited by dark sky, and if they found anything wrong, would they fine us? Was this going to be more work for the city? And I've talked to dark sky, and that is not the case. This is a pretty extensive process to become dark sky compliant. The ordinance is just a small part of it. We have to put together the city's history, inform the public at various public places, like we did at Maple Festival, like Dennis did at Woodland Hills Days last year, and show them that we're educating the public. They say it takes about 2 years. It's a long process, but the ordinance is the first step. And I think, from having gone through this before, that we take a look at residential, commercial, and also the construction standards, which would be the tool that we could use to enforce the ordinance. And let current residents know who aren't in compliance, whether that's lumens per bulb or lumens per acre. The dark sky does have money available should the homeowner want to become compliant. They don't have to pay for it themselves. So there's a lot to this, but I think we're making a good first step.
A long time.
Yes.
I'd like to see this move forward
Yep.
as fast as possible. So I guess the next step is put
I'll send
something
it to
together,
Daniel.
Get it to Dave.
Yep.
And then I think once we get it to Dave and he says, yeah, this is what it work, I think we should get the city council looking at it before it goes to the planning commission. Get some input from some of the city council.
Should I can ask the mayor to be put on the next agenda. Would that be Tuesday? Is Tuesday your next meeting, Brian?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. If not, we'd go into the first meeting in December, the second Tuesday.
It'd be good if we could get something to Dave first.
Yeah,
before
I'll
we
do that.
Present to the city council, so let's wait for a month maybe, huh?
Okay,
Before we have something to report to them. that
okay.
we Ran it by,
Daniel?
or Daniel,
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, I think getting on asking the city, or maybe Brian, you can just take care of this. You know, do we have to publicly go before city council and say, do we have to submit to planning first and they have a public hearing and then planning gives their recommendation to the council, or do we just make a recommendation to the council?
So I'm gonna check on that to see if it needs to go through the council first. So let me do that and I'll get back with you while you're getting it to the people that need it, that you want to see it.
Okay.
Maybe a question on this. Is this, the dark sky is part of the Parks and Trails and Recreation now, or I thought it was a separate thing? Wasn't it a separate group and committee, but now it's part of this instead?
It's always been a part of PTR, but it was kind of like a subcommittee, and we had a lot of people involved. But then it kind of fizzled with the presentation to planning.
Any other
So
questions?
now we're a part of this and we're pushing this through as a committee,
Mhm.
or I am, or I should ask people.
Yeah.
Yep.
what we need to do.
Right.
I'm sure, I've tried to read through this, but I'm assuming that Christmas lights, those kinds of lights are not going to exceed any kind of lumen restrictions that we've got in here. Is that correct?
I think so.
So we're not restricting people from having their flashing Christmas lights or
Right.
their
Holiday.
moving lights or their holiday lights or
Right.
things like that. That is not what we're doing.
No,
No.
we're not. I think in a sense, we may be restricting based on lumens per acre. And I have no idea how many lumens those little
You know,
string lights are that run through people's yards all over their yard. I don't know.
I just don't know that we want to be going down that road.
No.
If we're saying, hey, yeah, all these, that's the new thing. That's, everybody wants their
Yep.
Christmas lights that whatever they do and they're on all year long. It's not
Well,
just
I
a
think-
Christmas thing.
I
It's
think that the
different
ordinance
colors.
should limit them to certain times of the year for holidays. Stuff, so they're not on all the time.
Well, the ordinance that Dennis and I put together, in keeping with disturbing the peace ordinance, said, please turn these kind of things off at 10:30 as a regular rule. But if you're having a party or, you know, whatever, exceptions
Yeah.
are to be made. And the only uplighting that we're allowing based on
Flagpole.
US code is the flagpole.
And it's for new construction, the way I've read what you put together.
Yep.
This is primarily for new construction. But if somebody wants to add a garage to their home or something, that garage would have to be in compliance. But
Correct.
it doesn't mean that the whole existing home and yard and everything, oh, now we've got to go change all that too, just because we put in a permit for the garage?
No.
That would not be the case, right?
No, they're
It's just for new
grandfathered
construction.
in. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
We have a new home on our street and they turn their lights on for the first time. They have the LED lights, and it's really pretty, and it's lumens are right within the city code, in fact, probably lower. So I was, everybody was pleased.
Pleasantly
Yeah,
surprised.
It's, it's pretty nice.
Where do you think the idea of no streetlights should be addressed? In the commercial code for lighting or in residential? That we don't have any streetlights like Salem does.
Have any ventures or anything here within the city, right?
Maybe I'm using the
And I
wrong
don't
word.
know if there's plans to have some, or
I don't know where they put it. Let's see, what is it called? Public Facilities District. Right now, it says flood lighting or other lighting of playfields, buildings, bulletin boards, parking areas shall be located and designed so as to shield the light from adjoining residences, and except for general lighting, shall be extinguished between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 o'clock, unless a longer period of time is approved by the Planning Commission. That's all there is under what I would, I'm using the wrong word, it's not commercial. And should that also include lumens per acre, like we're trying to incorporate into residential? Where should we put this no streetlights? Because, I mean, now we don't have them, but we could get a resident moving in from California and he or she becomes mayor, and all of a sudden we have streetlights. So it'd be nice to have something that said we don't have them. So we have to go through a process to change that, because it isn't in the code anywhere having to do with streetlights.
yeah, no, it sure seems like streetlights, that's gonna be on city property,
Okay.
more than likely, right? If it's gonna be a street light, it's not, it's gonna be within that, you know,
It'll be on the city's
easement or
easement.
right of way or whatever. I don't see it being a residential
Okay.
as much. That's just my thought on it.
Well, I think you're.
So I'm not sure where it's at, but I believe that we currently restrict to no streetlights in our current ordinances. I believe, I'm gonna guess that it's in like subdivisions, but I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look for it. So there is already an ordinance for that somewhere, I believe.
Okay, well, I searched the code under lights and I didn't find anything like that. But I can look again. So you think it's under subdivisions? That may be under construction standards. Okay, thanks for that, Brian. I'll look again.
Okay.
Is your mic on, Michelle? I can't hear you at all.
Trade.
We've been struggling with those mics lately.
Here, I'll give you mine.
No, I was just saying that because Four Seasons, you would have thought it being a subdivision kind of separate, and they do not have streetlights. So maybe there is a code somewhere. Because
Makes sense.
I mean, you would have thought that being kind of a subdivision,
Right.
similar to others that always.
Well, and Four Seasons and the city have no development agreement either. So it wouldn't have been taken care of in there, like Summit Creek has a development agreement. Ryan, can you check on that for me or for us?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Okay, anything else on dark sky?
It's I don't know if we've talked about it before. I don't remember. But just for kind of your thoughts, um, is that Three Bridges is incorporating dark sky um, lighting in their plan. So they have already agreed to do that. That was one of the things that were brought up in multiple meetings with them, with our citizens, and they have agreed to put dark sky lighting restrictions in their general plan as well with the city of Salem.
That's good to hear.
Yes, we should join them.
It's the idea.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to pass this right back to you. So, if we didn't want to, or if people did not want to comply completely with everything that's in the dark sky, all the standards and everything, would we be happy with something that would be less than, but maybe, in other words, it could maybe be in the codes and all these, that diagram, and we follow that for new builds. But all that other work that you were talking about that has to go in. So would we be satisfied with just that without joining the dark sky? Like, is there a disadvantage to not join be called a dark sky city, but comply as much as we wanted to without being officially a dark sky committee? That's my question. And
The uptick for being dark sky is if, like myself, I have lights on the back of my house that I probably shouldn't have, according to dark sky. They don't go anywhere but in the woods. And should I want to change those, I can apply for dark sky grant to do that. That would be one of the upticks I see from the city being a dark sky community.
So there's grants that you can apply for. Dark sky.
Maybe a question along those lines, the same thing is it going to cost you more and more time and more effort to fill out a grant, to apply for a grant, to, hey, will you give me a $5 light bulb, for free so that I can then put that in? It just, I see where you're going with this. It seems like we could just do some kind of city ordinances or recommendations, or this is what we need to do. We just don't get to be branded dark sky. For me, that's not a big deal. I don't need to have that brand. But if we wanted to comply and 80% of the people are complying, and hey, we're pretty much a dark sky and this is awesome. This is what we're getting what we want. We just don't get to put on my postage stamp that I'm a dark sky person when I send out my emails or my letters.
How about if I ask Daniel, in his opinion, what are the benefits for a city being dark sky?
Yeah. Are we
I mean,
going to
other
get
than-
thousands of dollars every year to do something else, or is it?
Okay, I'll ask him.
That's a good question.
It just,
That-
yeah.
That's really.
Yeah.
It's going to
That's a
take
really
us
good
2 more
question.
years to go through this process, to get all this
Right.
done, to do all this. It almost seems like we're doing it just so we can say we're dark sky like Eagle Mountain.
Maybe
Or-
they've shortened it,
Yeah.
the package, maybe.
Yep.
I'll have to look.
Let's find out.
Okay,
I mean, the main thing is we've got this concept of what we
What
would
we
like to see
want.
happen. Here, we want to be able to see the sky at night
Mhm.
after 11 o'clock.
And I
That's the
think it
perfect-
would be, mm, a good idea, way to gather the community if we, of course, everything comes up over the mountain so late in the east because of the mountain. You know, the Perseid meteor shower in August. Go down the park, bring your sleeping bags. Um, there's a ton of meteor showers. There's,
And it is kind of cool to be able to say it with dark sky.
yep, I do too.
But I'm just saying.
All the hoops.
Good
But we're
question.
going to need help.
Regardless, we know that the city needs to rewrite the lighting ordinance.
Yep.
And we can help them obtain that objective because we're all on the same page. I think everybody realizes we need to rewrite it. Well, let's help the city council out. That's our job.
Sherry and Dennis,
Yeah.
would you guys mind sitting a little closer to the mics? It's really hard to get a recording.
Oh, thank you.
Is that better, Jody?
Yep, that's a little bit better. Thanks.
Okay. The feedback that I've gotten from city officials is when you propose to write an ordinance, to rewrite an ordinance, that you have a way of enforcing it. And I think adding perhaps Eagle Mountain's packet or whatever to the construction standards, meaning you have to submit a lighting plan when you build your house and make sure it complies with the ordinance, is a way to enforce that ordinance. We don't need an enforcement officer to drive around. You don't get a CO if you're not compliant, or a permit if you haven't submitted your lighting package. But we are going to need help.
Okay, we ready to move on?
Yep.
Sure, you have an update on the Utah Outdoors Grant.
Yes, I do. How about if I combine 6 and 8 because they all pertain to Utah
Great.
outdoor grants.
Who is the who is the dark sky coordinator on number 5? Is that something that we needed to, is that already done or?
It would be helpful. Like I said, we need help. It's not that it's a lot of work. I mean, it is a lot of work, but that's what we kind of signed up for. But the more people that we have involved in this process, keep us on track. What do we need to do next? So if you have any suggestions, who you know that really likes the night sky, I can look at my comments on my Facebook page. I did have a resident in Summit Creek tell me today that she got up the nerve to talk to her neighbor about their spotlight. And it was easy.
Pardon?
It was easy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't know if we were
No,
trying
let's
to
get
establish
some
or
names
set
together.
something. Okay. Sorry.
As far as the Woodland Hills Trail Utah Outdoor Recreation Grant, it's all completed. The city has received their reimbursement for the money that was outlaid. I did get an email 2 days ago from Patrick Morrison, and I have to give a 2-year update where we are now. I have not been up on the trail since it snowed, but I imagine there's a lot of trees down up there.
I went up there today,
Did you?
and it wasn't that bad, actually.
Good.
There was a few, but it really wasn't bad.
Okay.
So,
Thank you for that report.
I went up because I thought I saw an email from you, Sherry, saying that the water bars and stuff, or the reels, they weren't there. They were gone or whatever. That's not what I found at all.
Oh, good.
They're all over. On the 4-wheeler, you're going up and down the little hills on every one of them.
Good. Maybe the
And
snow and the
so
water
the
has helped.
snow is there, and so you can't really see
Right.
everything, but I took lots of pictures and I was
Good.
very pleased with what I saw. I thought they were still functioning the way they
Great.
should. And so that's why I went up, but I went around, maybe not around, but around 2 or 3 trees maybe. You
Okay.
could see trees down everywhere,
Right.
but not on the trail. It wasn't much of an issue.
That's good news. So I'd say we're pretty much finished with that, other than this follow-up paperwork that I need to do. I enjoyed the process of learning something new, and in conjunction with that, when I was filing the paperwork with Utah Outdoor Recreation, I asked, do you have grants for pickleball, basketball courts? And she said, funny you should ask, because we're starting it next year. I have a contact person. I don't know anything about it other than what I was told is that if the city council feels that they can't come up with a match, which is usually 50%, which would be 25K, wasn't it 50 for a pickleball court, roughly?
That or a little bit more. Yeah.
That the city can claim hardship, and we wouldn't have to come up with the 50%. But I need to find out more information about this to make a presentation. One of us make a presentation to the city council. Should we go forward with this? Because we do have the dedicated funds from Summit Creek for trail enhancement of $500 per lot that they sell, I think it is. And in the development agreement, it states, I think we can ask for $10,000 up front, if I remember correctly. So I looked at the budget. I can't see real-time data. I'd have to ask Lori. I know at the end of last year, there was 6,000 in there. So you're building like crazy in Summit Creek, so that's good.
For 10,000, you'd only need 20 lots to be sold. There's 20 lots that have been sold over there, isn't there? 20 homes over there.
I mean, they've been really good about paying the 500 every time a lot's sold. So I'll have to touch base with Lori, but that's a good source of revenue
Seems
for
like that
us.
money would be there.
Yeah.
$500 later on, not like, I don't know if it's counting.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
not the first ones.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't
Okay.
know when they started that exactly. Because I mean, homes were started building in like 2015, maybe 16.
I think it's when.
Okay, that's what I
Okay.
think. And that was later. So that's
So
why.
that's why it's not.
Yes. that's
Okay.
why there's more homes.
So we have that money. Brian has helped us. Chris Helvey's helped us to get that money to be dedicated. We alone cannot say, okay, we're spending the money on this and spend it. We have to go before city council to get
Mhm.
approval. But it's good. It's been labeled for PTR. So that's my update on those two. And if we do get approval to go ahead on the pickleball, basketball courts, I would recommend that we have like a coordinator, because it's going to be construction stuff. It's going to be, again, keep us on track and keep us moving forward. I'm happy to write the grant again, but if we could get somebody to keep us moving along, that would be fabulous. So that's my report.
Okay. Next item is we need a secretary. Do we have any volunteers? There's only 4 of us and we're co-chairs.
Well, we need another person is what we
Another
need.
person?
Yeah, yep. Um,
Definitely looking for recommendations. And I'm happy to talk to people if you want me to talk to them. But so far I've come up blank and but we do need to replace Judy.
yeah,
Let's put it on Facebook.
Put a little bit of a job description. This is what PTR is. It includes dark sky, it includes trails, it includes recreation, it includes whatever. Me, occasionally.
having been the secretary, Michelle, would you be willing to put that on Facebook? Okay.
Well, I'll volunteer to write something up for the Facebook, if that's okay.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Pardon?
You're active on Facebook.
Yeah, I'll put it on the unofficial.
No.
I'll put it on the official page. That was a joke.
Dennis, just note that part of the quote job description is the minutes, notifying Jody with the agenda before we have our meeting. She likes to have it a week before, but
Okay.
she does take it later. She's been wonderful in doing that. But what else? Keep notes during the meeting.
So are you planning on trying to find a member that will take the secretary position as well? Is that the thought process here? I'm just trying to wrap my head around this.
Yeah, that would be
Or are you
great.
just looking for a member?
We'd like to find somebody that
Looking
would
for a
be
secretary.
secretary.
Yeah.
But we will accept new members.
Mm.
Okay, any other business? When do we want to have our next meeting?
It's Christmas time.
Yeah, December will be rough.
Yep.
What is the need for a meeting? What would we need to be doing?
Our next meeting, we probably should wrap up all the dark sky suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
And by January, we'll know exactly the process of how to move this through, whether we have to go to the planning commission or not. I don't see getting all this done by December, but. it would
So
be
we'd
nice
meet
to
on
be
the
able to-
21st of January.
Great, January 21st.
Brian, do you know, I know there was talk of the survey being extended for the general plan. Are there any kind of deadline dates in conjunction
So-
with that?
I don't remember the date, but it was extended. I thought it was coming up here pretty soon. It might have already ended. I'm not 100% sure, but I think you definitely want to get that information because we purposefully made sure that stuff was in there about dark skies. And so getting that information lets everybody know what the citizens want. And I think that's going to be a good case maker for your group.
Okay. And also, will you let Dennis know when that committee is meeting to work on the general plan? Because parks, trails, and recreation are part of the general plan. And Dennis had agreed months ago that he would be happy to be on that committee.
Yeah, I'll be
Okay.
happy to attend their meetings.
Yep, I'll see what I can find out and let you know, Dennis.
Very good. Any other meeting? Any other business?
I do have one bit of business, and I've been trying to Sherry and I seem to be traveling on opposite times. I haven't been able to catch her. So I was approached by the mayor, and he had talked to me that quite often, or sometimes, we get citizens who would like to do some volunteer work. And his thought is that maybe we can send those people over to the PTR committee. We can maybe have a list of beautification projects, things like that, that people could work on. Not big things like the water bars or anything like that, but different things that could be done. Obviously not in the winter, but things that you guys might have a list of beautification projects like you did with when the stake was doing their service project, that you could have ready to say, hey, these are the things that need to be done, that we'd like to get done, and is there something on this list that person would like to do? I want to have your guys' thoughts on that and see if that might be something that you would be interested in getting volunteers to do some of those beautification projects.
I think that'd be great. We had a list of people that wanted to help.
And a list of things for them to do.
And we could create a list of things.
Mhm.
I know that the park can
Park
always
could
use
bark
some
moved
trimming
around,
or maybe a little weed whacking or.
Yeah, I think you guys were kind of taking care of the roundabout, stuff like that, doing things there. Another thing to think about, Sherry, is are we going to do the Christmas lights at the mailboxes again? And we need to kind of start putting that plan together as
Yeah,
well.
we just need to plug them in.
Are they still there? Okay.
They're still there. Yeah. And as far as the roundabout goes and the mailbox, from conversations that we've had with city officials, I mean, I go down there and I trim out the dead stuff and throw it away. But with the uncertainty of what's going on with Three Bridges and what's going to happen down there, I can't see us putting any money, or I'm throwing out the idea of not putting any money or work into that because it may not be there anymore.
Yeah, something, I mean, it's going to get changed, but until then, I don't know. Again, we're just
Okay.
looking for help from y'all to say, yeah, we could use some volunteers, and have stuff kind of prepped out for them that they could pick from a list of planting flowers at the roundabout or the mailboxes or up in the park, or things like that we could
Okay.
use some beautification around the city.
Maybe we could follow Spanish Fork's lead and have volunteer flower planting.
And there you go.
They have people that plant flowers in the spring and help change and put up Halloween stuff. If you've noticed, it's one of the nice things about Spanish Fork Main Street.
Yeah.
And maybe we could do that with our roundabout.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know what the roundabout will look like in the future. As far as we know, there's still plans to have a roundabout. Everybody has that still in their plans. So I'm assuming there'll be something in the future, but even until then, it's just a thought.
Do you have any timeline at all?
I don't. It's just when people are coming to the city and coming to Jody and things like that and saying, hey, I'd like to volunteer, that maybe they can't do a commitment like a committee, but would like to add some time, give some time to the city. That's kind of what he asked me for.
Okay. And
Or to bring to y'all.
I was thinking along a timeline as far as when's the roundabout being changed or redone or anything like that. Do you have a timeline on that?
I don't. I know that they pushed off until 2025 the repair of it. And it's really, I think the changes are really going to depend on Three Bridges and how their build out's going and what, how that's all set up. So there's still a lot to be done before that ever gets there. That roundabout won't change until we do something with our mailboxes and and things like that. So there's still a whole lot of work to get done. I would guess we might even have another year of the same roundabout or more. And then something, if it changes, it might still be the same one. They might decide that they don't need to change it to a 2-lane. I would hope they wouldn't. But as far as anybody's ever said, there's nothing, there is going to be a roundabout there. There's no change to that, at least having a roundabout.
And that's
Okay.
county property, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
I wonder if there's county grants, because if you look at Woodland Hills logo, the 3 mountains, be beautiful to have in the roundabout a nice bronze, like what that logo is, big, if we could get a
Yeah.
grant to pay for something like that.
As I learn more, I will let y'all know so that those things can be looked into.
Okay.
So is that the new earth moving mountain, is that meant for the new mailbox?
Keep your windows closed.
No, so that's actually Woodland Hills land, that is in the city of Woodland Hills. And they're just piling the dirt there. Their plan is to bring in a screen here, a big screen station, so they can screen that and actually get rid of that material. And they've got to put in permits with the city and follow, rules and manage the dust, all the things that we're going to require of them. But that possibly, some of that could possibly go there if we need to extend that hill out where that's at. Again, no decisions have been made on that whatsoever. So we're, there's no way to speculate, but that material like it is can't be used for that purpose because it has to be graded material. So it actually has to go through the screens and it has to be the right material for the right compaction and things like that. So that's only there for as temporary. So we've got a temporary eyesore that I don't know how long will last.
Thank you.
Because I'm sure they're selling the topsoil and that's our land. Is Woodland Hills getting money for that?
So the top, again, I don't know about the topsoil that's underneath of that. The topsoil that they actually have quite a large amount of topsoil, really, really, really good stuff that comes from up on the hill, which is out actually in the Salem land. They haven't cut anything on Woodland Hills land yet, so no.
Thanks, Brian.
Great. Any other business or comments? Do I have a motion?
Maybe one thing.
Okay.
I know the answer to this probably, but with the repairs that they need to do on the roundabout, I'm sure insurances are involved. There's a whole chunk of change that's going to be expended to fix that so we can rip it out and make a new one for Three Bridges. Is there any way that we could just utilize that money? Don't fix it. It's operational. It's working. Utilize that insurance money in some way to build a pickleball court. I don't know. Just, is there a way that the city could use that money instead of?
I wish I could say yes, but that's county. That insurance claim was filed with the county, and the county decided to put off the repair, most likely because of Three Bridges, and not knowing if that roundabout's going to change or not. So we can't even touch it, and so the money wouldn't be ours; it would be the county's.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if we approach the county and see if they would give us money for maintaining and beautifying, that could be a possibility. I honestly don't know because it is their property.
Okay.
Great. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Sure.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned until January 21st,
That'll be 7 p.m., right?
7 p.m.
Okay.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.